Welcome back to another beautiful day in the land of music. My name is Douglas, and in today's video, I've got the brand new MPC Key 37 in front of me. If you've watched any of my videos, you know I have the MPC Key 61. Love that keyboard. I think it's one of the best, if not the best, in that price range, especially for a workstation style keyboard. It can do a ton, and the 37 puts that in a more portable package. So for a lot of you picking this up, you probably don't have the MPC Key 61. So I'm gonna be putting out a bunch of videos on how to use the 37. Starting with this one, I'm gonna take it out of the box for the very first time. I have not actually seen it in person. This has been sitting in my studio for 3 days because I've been busy with some other things, but we're taking it out of the box. And in this video, I'm gonna walk you through how to plug it in, get it set up for the very first time, and maybe play some sounds. So let's jump right into it with a little magic and get this thing out of the box. And there we go, the MPC Key 37 out of the box. What comes with this is just a little bit of stuff. Let's go over this, plug it in, get it connected to our audio interface, and turn this thing on for the very first time. So we've got part of the power cord right here. Take that out of the bag, twisty off, and we're gonna get this thing plugged in. So that's one piece of it. The other piece is in this box. Take that out, take this off. And then these two connect together. So this power block with the little end that plugs into the keyboard, connect that to the other piece, and that's gonna plug into your surge protector or your outlet. And we'll get that plugged in a second. The other thing that comes with this is a little quick start guide, but I'm gonna walk you through how to use this keyboard and then how to get the software download instructions. Again, watch this video and I'm gonna show you how to get this thing turned on and running. You've got the USB cable. You can plug the MPC Key 37 into your computer. I don't think we'll get into that in today's video because one thing I found with the MPC Key 61 is that really pretty much everything I needed to do, at least the beginner stuff, I don't even have to plug this thing in. Can do it all from the beautiful 7-inch touchscreen. So for now, we're just gonna stick this back here. And one last thing, and the MPC Key 61 came with this as well, but it's a little cloth to wipe the screen off because of fingerprints and things like that. They do show up on the screen. Now, one last thing before we turn this on is we're just gonna take the protective piece off of the screen. Wow, so beautiful. And the first thing we're gonna do is plug the power into our surge protector and then into the back of the keyboard. So I have the one end plugged into the surge protector. I'm gonna take the other end, and over here, right underneath the MPC Key 37 lettering, there's a port that we plug the power into. There's also this nice little screw knob here. If I take this out so you can see a little better, there's this little screw piece here. And what we can do is thread the power cord through this little piece right here. Let me pull this, unscrew it all the way out. Oops, drop it. Make sure you always drop it. And then we're gonna take and just pop that little piece around our power cord. And the reason we do this is so that if we're playing this live or something like that, we don't have to worry about this plug getting jerked and the keyboard coming unplugged. So we can plug that in and then just tighten this down a little bit. And that way, if this cord gets jerked, it doesn't come popping out of our MPC Key 37. It's really nice to have that piece there. The power switch is here. We'll come to that in a second. We have a USB port, and this is for plugging things like other controllers or audio interfaces in, and the MPC will recognize those. Then we have the USB for plugging the MPC into the computer. We have an SD card slot. We have our recording volume, left, right, 1/4 inch inputs, left, right, 1/4 inch outputs, headphone outputs. We have some CV gate plugs here, MIDI, your traditional 5-pin MIDI in and out, sustain, foot switch number 2, and an expression pedal. It's kind of a bummer that it doesn't have the XLR inputs like the MPC Key 61 does, along with the phantom power. That was a really nice feature on the MPC Key 61. But I will say that if it recognizes an audio interface, you can just plug an audio interface into the keyboard itself through USB and then leverage the phantom power and the XLRs on the audio interface and still be able to record that audio into the MPC Key 37. We'll get into all that in future videos. I have a Yamaha FC4A sustain pedal. I'm gonna plug that into the sustain plug on the back of the keyboard. And my cable's a bit of a stretch all the way over here from my audio interface on my desk, but we're gonna go left out and right out. So we'll be able to hear some of the sounds on this in this video. So we've got the power plugged in, the audio plugged in, and our sustain pedal plugged in. We're ready to go and turn this thing on. So to turn the MPC Key 37 on, there's a little switch right back here by the power that we plugged in. I'm gonna press that in, and that's gonna power on the MPC Key 37. Beautiful little fading colors on the pads. We get the MPC OS page that comes up here as this loads. We get the Welcome to MPC page. We're gonna tap on the next button here. And then it says, please connect to the internet to check for the latest software update. I'm gonna connect this to my Wi-Fi because it has built-in Wi-Fi, which is great. We're gonna say, let's go. So we're gonna tap on Empty Project and we're gonna get into the MPC itself and set up that Wi-Fi. So once we hit Empty Project, it's gonna come over to this page. We're gonna tap on the main track button right here. And then once we're here, we can tap on this home button, and that's gonna bring us over to kind of our settings screen here on the MPC. I'm gonna tap on Preferences. We're gonna go to Wi-Fi, and we're gonna connect this to our Wi-Fi. Select your Wi-Fi and tap on Connect. Type in the password for that Wi-Fi, and then press the Do It button, and that's gonna connect to your Wi-Fi. Give it a minute. It's gonna show you when it's connected. And then we can come up to our info page here. We can see that we're on MPC firmware 2.12.1, and we can tap on update, and we can say online update because we've connected. And for some reason, I'm getting an online update error. There's an error reading the update information. I'll look into that, see if I can figure out why it's giving me that error. But one little quick tip here that I just realized, so I'm used to the MPC Key 61, so a bit of some differences going on here. One of the differences is we have these buttons below our screen that allow us to go quickly to different areas of the keyboard. The MPC Key 61 had some buttons up on the right-hand side. It's kind of nice having these below the screen here. So what we could have done, instead of going main and home, what I'm used to doing on the 61, you can just tap on the main preferences here. And then if you hold Shift and tap on that, it jumps right into your preferences. So they've added some other quick functions, and you can access those by holding Shift. The Shift has this white background, so any of the white background labels, hold Shift to get to that screen. So one other thing within our preferences is we can go into activate plugins, and you'll notice that I'm not logged in at all. So we're gonna tap on login. If you don't have an InMusic profile account, go ahead and create one, and it's gonna give you this URL, device.akaipro.com, and then it gives you a code to enter. I'm gonna swing over to my computer, take care of this, and we'll come back over once I've synced this with my account. So once you follow that link, you've entered the code, that's gonna sync it up with your account. It asks you to sign in or to create an account with Akai Pro. I've done that already. I have some Akai products, and so I already had an account. And as soon as I punched that code in, signed into my account, it synced up and the screen updated. Now, what's interesting here, and I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research on this, because if we come back to our sounds page, you'll notice there are 8 sounds here: hype, tube synth, Odyssey, Selena, Mellotron, bassline, drum synth, and electric. Now on the MPC Key 61, we had a bunch more. We had Fabric XL, things like that. So if we come into our preferences again, Shift, menu, or preferences, and we look at the activate plugins, I have a number of plugins I can activate. I can't activate Fabric XL, which is very interesting. And I think that's partly due to the fact that there's only 2 gigabytes of RAM in this versus 4 in the MPC Key 61. I'll do a whole video where I compare the 37 with the 61 to give you an educated guide on, does it make sense to go for the 37, or do you spend a little bit more and go with the 61 to get some additional features or sounds? So what's interesting is you see on the screen here, I have the ability to activate a lot of these Stage EP, Stage Piano. A lot of the plugins that came with the 61 are synced to my account. I'm assuming that's why I can activate them here. Yours may say get trial instead. And if that's the case, you get the trial and you can purchase those and then download them here. You'll notice Hype, Mellotron, all of those are already downloaded or included on the MPC Keys 37. And then down here, there's some newer ones like Mini D they came out with a while ago after the 61 came out, so it wasn't included with it. So I can get a trial of that and purchase that if I want, as well as some effects. So as I play around with this more, I'll try to give you more information on some of those things. But I believe from what it's looking like is You'll probably see get trial on a lot of these, but because I already have the 61 and the licenses to those, I'm able to use them on the 37. So we're gonna leave it as is for now. I wanted to just walk you through just a couple of basics on the MPC Key 37 before we end this video, because you're watching this, we got it plugged in, we got it turned on, connected to our audio interface, a sustain pedal plugged in, we synced it with our account or registered it, and now we want to play it. And so what I want to do is just show you a couple of basics. Before we do that, you can plug headphones into this, 1/4-inch headphones. If you have 1/8-inch headphones, you can get a 1/4-inch adapter. A lot of headphones come with a 1/4-inch adapter now anyway. So you can plug that in, I think it was right next to the 1/4-inch outputs. But I'm going into my Focusrite 8i6 audio interface, recording this straight into Pro Tools. I'm gonna put the volume, I'm gonna go with about 3/4. I haven't tested this at all. This is the very first time I'm playing this. And so I'm going in, no effects or anything like that. It's just the raw sound you're hearing. And let's go into the hype instrument. So a couple of basics here. So this sounds button has 2 screens it alternates between when you press it. The first one are our 8 sound engines or plugins that we have. And then if you tap it again, whatever plugin you have selected, it's gonna show you the preset listing for that plugin. And we've got actually a whole bunch of directories here. So if we tap on bells, for instance, then we get to the presets for bells. We can go back and forth in the pages with these 2 back and forth buttons. This screen is super responsive and great. I loved how it worked on the 61, and it's the same here. So if we come in and just tap on any one of these presets, it loads that up so we can play it. And if we want to go into more of a detailed edit screen, we can tap on edit, and that brings us right into the edit mode for that preset in the plugin. If we want to get back to the preset listing, we can just tap on this twice, brings us back to this sound here. And then we could also tap edit instrument on the screen. So these do the same thing, brings you into the edit where you can go in and modify the different effects, the filter amp, so. And what's great is you'll see this little orange outline, and these are assigned to our Q-Link knobs over here to the right of the screen. So they're automatically assigned, and if I just kind of touch them, you'll see the name here, res, cutoff, match what's over here. So we could come over here, and as we're playing this even, we could pretty cool stuff. These knobs are gonna update with whatever is surrounded by this little orange border. So let's come back to our sounds, and I'll just show you a couple other things. So again, we can come into it by tapping on the plugin. We have our directories or our folders, categories within that plugin. And if we tap on that, it loads it up. If we want to use octave up and down, those are right below our main volume. So on a bass, I want to bring that down. And then we have our pitch and our modulation. So the modulation sometimes is tied to something that does a similar like wah effect. Sometimes it's tied to, in this case, kind of the dynamics of that bass sound. We could come in again, edit instrument, or tap edit here. Now, let's say we want to record or we want to find some drum sound. So let's talk about record. What we're going to do is tap on our main screen here, this button right here. It's going to bring us to our main track screen. You'll see the plugin program is what we had called up, that bass line. And just real quick, let's record just a quick little beat here. I'll have other videos where I go into depth on how to record a beat, but I'm gonna record a bass line and a drum line just to kind of give you a quick bath in it. So right here, our track is track 1. We could name this by tapping on the little A in the cursor icon. I'm gonna call this bass. And then we're gonna come in and label our plugin bass as well. So these line up. And that's nice when you go into mix mode or mute mode, you can see the labels of what you're working with. So we've got our sequence here, and we're gonna leave this at 4 bars. We're just gonna do a simple little riff. And what we wanna do is we've got this tap tempo button. So you'll notice that my beats per minute updates. And then we could always tap on that, double tap or tap down on our encoder. And let's go with 12. So we're gonna erase this and just type 12 in ourselves. We're gonna say do it. And you could also tap down on the big encoder here, it gets the same result. And then, so now if we just go into here, one last thing that we wanna do is hold shift and go to our metronome configuration. We're gonna turn that on. We're gonna set it to just record. And then we're gonna come out of the metronome screen by tapping close. We have these transpose buttons right here. So we're gonna start off with record, and then we're gonna go play start, which is gonna start us at the very beginning of our 4 bars. If we pressed play, it would start wherever we are in kind of our cursor. And we have this little red line right here that shows us where we are within our bars. You'll watch that move as we record. And as soon as we get to the end of our 4 bars, then it's gonna loop around. And when it does that, it's gonna switch to overdub. So anything that we already played, unless we play those exact notes again, it's gonna leave those and it's gonna add to that whatever we play after that. We're gonna keep it pretty simple here, and I'm just gonna go play start, and it's gonna give us a 4-beat count in, and then it's gonna start recording. So let's jump right in, hit play start. You'll notice how it changed to overdub. So we're gonna press on stop, and watch, this is my cursor, so if I play this, and then if we tap stop, it's gonna stop it. And we could hit play start, starts it from the very beginning. So just to demonstrate that. So let's add drums to this, because this is kind of the other piece. You know, you probably bought this, you wanna use these beautiful 16 drum pads over here. So we're gonna tap on our track, and we're gonna go to next track number 2 by scrolling, or there's many ways we can do that. We're gonna tap on this, and we're gonna call it drums. And there's 2 ways that we can select drums. So we're gonna change this track type from plugin to drums by tapping on this little drum icon here. And this switches now to drum program 1, which is great. Now the 2 ways we can select drum sounds. 1, we can go to our sounds, and because we changed this to a drum track, it looks different. Now we're selecting from drum programs. We could tap on these folders or categories. We could come in here and see a list of drum kits here. Now the other way we could do this is coming back to our main button here. We could tap on assign samples. And this brings us over to this sample assign, where we could assign samples to these pads. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tap on browse, and it's automatically selecting the drums. And we could scroll through these, and these are all of our different drum kits here on the MPC. And then we could tap on audition, and we could select auto. So as we scroll through these, and then we can tap on that if we want to stop the audition. It's a really quick way to kind of see what they sound like before you load them up. So then we could tap on load, and that's gonna load those up. That entire drum kit is gonna load right into our drum pad. So come back to main screen, and if we just tap on our program and scroll over, we're gonna select that kit that we loaded up. So a couple of steps there. The other thing we could have done is gone over to sounds, factory expansion, come in here, you know, it shows us which one we have selected, and we could just tap on another one of these, and that's gonna load that up. Let's come back here. So let's add this into our bass. Our bass is on track 1. Could tap on that. We could come back, scroll, or use the plus minus here. Come back to our bass. Let's go to our drums though. Now, one little quick tip on these where they kind of go for a little while You can double tap stop and it kills any sound that's still sustaining. We can tap double tap on stop, kills the sound that was playing. So let's jump into this. We're going to tap on record, play start. Now, I don't like that. So what do I do in the case where I messed up? I've got this nice little undo redo button. I can tap undo. And before I do that, I'm actually going to go into grid mode and I'm going to show you, here are the drum sounds that we played, right? I'm going to tap undo and those go away. So pretty cool. Then we can come back here. Now, what we could have done as well is we could have just done record, play, start again. So when you do record, it overwrites everything in your track as it goes. Overdub leaves what's there, records the new notes. So just a couple of little tips there. Again, I'll have an in-depth video where we record a song together or a sequence together, and I'll walk you through even more tips here, including like automation and things like that. But let's go in and just record. I guess that's the sound we're going with. Now it's going to continue to play that, but it's on overdub, so I can start to add different drums in here. Now what's great about this is I can just tap on overdub. Now we're in play mode. I want to record that. So now it's still playing, it's going to loop, tap on overdub. Great. What if we want to bring that volume of the drums down a little bit? Let's just tap on this little eye here and we'll have our volume for our drums. We can just bring that down a little bit. Just for the heck of it, let's add a track 3 in there. It's going to default to drums, but let's switch that to plugin. We're going to go into sounds. Let's go into tube synth. Now let's go into tube synth. Select on synth. We messed up there. So we're gonna just tap undo. We're gonna press record, play start. And there you go, quick little beat. Not getting into it in too much detail. There's so much more that we could jump into here. I'm really excited to compare this with the MPC Key 61 because I'm curious, this costs about 900 US right now. The MPC Key 61, I think, is around 1,500 right now, maybe 1,800, depending on where you get it. And so this is almost half as much as the MPC Key 61, but what are you getting? What's the difference? We're going to talk about all of that in the next video. So if you're interested, hit that subscribe button and the little bell so you get notified when that comes out. Again, I'm really excited. This is a super portable little package and I'm excited to dive into it more, especially with kind of the way they've changed around the controls. I thought I'd kind of be irritated by the changes, but I kind of like them. So we'll see how I feel when I compare it to the 61. I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you've got any questions about the MPC Key 37, if you're just jumping into the beat making world, or you're just like, hey, I got this, it's awesome, but I don't know how to use it, throw those questions down below. I'll try to kind of keep a list of potential videos to make, how-to videos on using this keyboard. In the meantime, stay inspired and keep making that music.